Ready? Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Hey guys, so yeah, if I look like I just took a shower, I did. That's actually why I'm a minute or two late. But don't worry, soon enough you won't have to see my face on the screen. Basically, I will put on the scores for you as usual. Because it's the night session, we will pretty much have all the scores, on the same page, on the same screen the entire time. So it will be slightly easier. And what the hell are we doing here even? Of course, we are watching the night session of the US Open. Basically, we are going to focus on the two matches that we have here, Muchova, Osaka, and Medvedev, Marozsan. Marozsan, the plan is that basically I'm going to stay here up until the latter of these matches, probably the men's one, because, well, it's usually longer. But basically until both of them end, that's the idea. I don't know really what could stop us from that. I mean, there could be like a natural catastrophe, I guess, in Poland or something like that. But yeah, otherwise, I don't think there's anything really that could derail me from this plan. So I don't know what I'm even talking about. Of course, there are also going to be night session matches after these. So after Osaka Muchova, we will have Alcaraz against Van de Zandschulp. Whereas on Louis Armstrong Stadium, we are going to have Wozniacki Zarazua, but my plan is to go to sleep during these matches, or at least, I don't know, maybe work for a bit and then go to sleep. So we'll see. But I am not going to be bringing these matches to you. Definitely, I think the first slot here is much more interesting, which is, again, the US Open just telling us, Europeans, you can go to sleep. You're not going to lose all that much. And I appreciate it, I definitely do. All right, so I think we're going to start by watching a set of Osaka Muchova. In the meantime, I will kind of get myself sorted out. As well, I will put on the scores for you on the screen in a little moment. Let me find them on the US Open website now. Here they are, and let's zoom in a bit. Although, actually, let's not zoom in that much because I think we're going to be able to see all the, well, not all the, but like half the action that is going on right now on one screen. So maybe that's good. Now the screen share option should be here. And boom. Well, not yet. Now you have it on your... do you? Yes, you do. Cool. I don't know how much of that you will actually be able to see, to be honest, because if I enlarge it, then we might lose these Navona Evans, Schoolkate Menchik ones. No, I guess I will still enlarge it. I will just show you the two matches that we're focusing on, basically. And of course, I will be mentioning the others from time to time, but after all, we're focusing on two matches here. And as we see, Marozsan and Medvedev have already started, and in fact, Daniil has already broken. They're going pretty quick there. But we, as I said, I think we are going to watch the opening set of Osaka Muchova first, mostly because, it's a best-of-3 match. So I think it makes sense to watch the first set of it and then kind of assume that Marozsan Medvedev will still be there once we finish with the first set of Osaka Muchova, and then we kind of figure out what's left. So yeah, these two matches today, I think Marozsan obviously is a player you can never kind of like write off when he's facing a top opponent. He's proved it many times, especially Alcaraz and Rome 2023, of course. Also, Osaka Muchova, I mean, it's just such a massive match between two players who could potentially go very deep here. Naomi has won this event in the past twice, and it's just looked at as one of the main contenders for a deep run now after a great Route 1 win. I know this maybe is a bit early, but that's how she is perceived. And I hope she will keep up that level, in fact. Whereas when it comes to Muchova, of course, so many injuries, but last year she was also in the semifinals here. And, well, we know what sort of quality she can bring to the tour if she ever stays healthy for an extended period of time. So hopefully that happens. And yeah, Naomi and Karolina will be starting their match soon. So just to talk about, well, if you want to talk about any of the other matches that have already happened, of course, fire away. I'm okay to talk about most of them. I've been following the action most of the day. Just a second ago, I mean, literally just like 5 or 10 minutes ago, we had 3 matches finishing. So Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova managed to come back against Elisabetta Cocciaretto. That I didn't watch, but I did watch the 2 men's ones. I mean, well, actually, Max Purcell against Tommy Paul, I also basically skipped, but Max ended up retiring there in the third set. Lots of physical issues today for many players. I mean, you had Korda struggling with injury. We had Hubert Hurkacz still looking kind of uncomfortable and playing a bit like, well, moving a bit like Djokovic at Wimbledon after his knee procedure. Otto Virtanen as well with the back. And yeah, some of the matches have been really disappointing. But Fins Diallo, I think, really delivered in many ways, and especially in the performance of the young Canadian. I mean, Fins is younger than him, but, well, Diallo is still young. And just the clarity with which he played today and pressured fields, that was something that I don't think he really has most of the time, like that sort of command over his game, And, well, all the more kudos to him, really, for that incredible performance. And when it comes to Osaka and Muchova, they are starting right now. Naomi is serving. She has a very interesting outfit, of course, in New York this year. If anyone is interested in that, personally, I kind of just watch the ball and the strokes and the racket and forget about everything else. But I know that some are interested in that as well. And, well, in the opening round, she played Jelena Ostapenko, and she just crushed her, kind of. It's not Ostapenko's favorite matchup if someone can match her pace, but also like serves very well. Jelena is one of the weakest first serve returners in the sport. And Osaka definitely has both of these things, but yeah, her level of executing that was also extremely high. I know that maybe just one performance doesn't mean that you're going to go on a run, but it would be pretty disappointing if she didn't keep it up at least for a few matches in New York. Then again, of course, Muchova in the second round is someone that no one wants to face. Karolina defeated Katie Volinets in the opening round and made pretty much light work out of it, let's say. There's an ace from Osaka. Of course, Naomi, a 4-time Grand Slam champion, all of this on hard courts. So anytime we have her playing as well as she did, for example, against Świątek at the French, our thoughts were already at the US Open, at the Australian Open, and thinking, can she make herself a title contender by then? Well, based on her performances in Canada and in Cincinnati, I wouldn't have said so, but who knows? I think there's definitely a bit of potential for her with the draw that she has. Kind of like the main problem was Ostapenko in round 1 rather than anything else. And yeah, so far the Osaka serve is just feeding her this first game. She gets on the board. And, well, that is, of course, another major asset. That she definitely often uses on these courts, and in her 2 title campaigns, that was one of the key aspects as well. And another match that is going on right now, which I think will be surprising to a lot of you, and it is surprising to me as well, is that Jakub Mensik is really struggling with Tristan Skulkate. And, well, so far it seems like he might just save himself somehow. But, yeah, Things were getting very dangerous there for Menchik in the 4th set, especially when he went down a break. Now they are starting the 5th set. I will show you the results somewhere. Oh yeah, they're just starting the 5th set. And there's also Navone and Evans, where Navone led by a break in both sets 1 and 2, but now he is behind, and it doesn't seem like the fact that Evans played that marathon match against Khachanov, the longest match in US Open history, is derailing him too much today against a player. Well, he should clearly be beating on hard courts generally. And we will be delighted to know that, Fabian Marozsan broke back on Louis Armstrong Stadium. Delighted because we don't want like a very lopsided match there, right? And that's the match where I think there's a bigger chance of a lopsided affair out of these two that we're going to be focusing on. Of course, it's also the best of 3 format here, so this one might be pretty short, even if it's not lopsided. But anyway, we'll see. Let's not worry about it for now. Maybe I just have some PTSD from earlier today, because literally a lot of these very interesting matches on paper, yeah, they just ended up being shorter than expected for one reason or another, basically. But yeah, the Muchova serving is pretty excellent to start this one as well. That was pretty much a flawless game from her. Naomi still kind of warming herself up, jumping around, but she's going to serve at 1 game all. Muchova had a net approach already as well. I know a lot of like ATP fans who have Karolina Muchova as their favorite WTA player, which is quite interesting, but you can kind of see it as well. So far, lots of aggression behind the serves. Naomi here with that ice-cold drive volley on the backhand side. Lots of time to do anything you want with this shot. She was comfortable playing it like that, and, well, she was right. Of course, Muchova has pretty much barely played this season, so for her it's quite important to kind of just grab any points she can right now. But, well, Osaka is kind of in a similar spot, also working her way back up. So yeah, both players could really use the extra 50 points and the possibility of getting even more as the tournament would be progressing. Ooh, that's a kind of like a rip and charge attempt from Muchova. It will actually work, but it's love 40 down, sorry. So probably won't really change anything about this game. We've played twice with one of these. I remember very well in Madrid in 2021. And the other was actually an early round at the US Open 4 years ago. That was, of course, the pandemic US Open when Osaka ended up winning the title with a comeback against Victoria Azarenka in the final. And she also came back from a set down against Karolina Muchova in the second round. But of course, that match is kind of, well, just a bit more forgotten, I suppose. Unlike the 2020 final where Vika was like 6-1 to love up, I think, or something that pretty much had a huge advantage. Another break in Medvedev Marozsan, interestingly. So out of the singles action, that's kind of what we have right now. These 2 matches plus what I was showing you earlier. Navone Evans seems like Dan is really cruising there though, and Skulkate Menchik in that 5th set. The Florian Mayer talking tennis. Ooh. That is a good question. Trey, I'm sorry, but I'm not in the States, so I really don't know what sort of like ESPN options you guys have over there. In Poland, Eurosport does the US Open, but I would assume that's not an option for you if you're an ESPN watcher. And yeah, why am I the Florian Mayer of talking tennis, Brazy? Tell me, that's for sure. Also, Diallo advancing past Arthur Fils. Yeah, he played a fantastic match. I know it's not like maybe flawless in the sort of most common sense of the word. He definitely, still was making errors and stuff, but I don't think I've seen him playing his game at like such a high level in terms of just understanding of the sport and kind of how smartly he was pressurizing Fils, always knowing which sort of which angle to go into, which kind of like avenue to look at. And I think he was just very clear in his mind today, which isn't always the case with Diallo. In fact, I would say it's very rarely the case on the court. I think today he was excellently prepared tactically and executed so well as well, almost from start to finish. To take a set, Fils had to just go into God mode in the second set tiebreak. For Fils, of course, that's not a great result. I think we would definitely hope to see, like, if Fils is going to become like a big title-winning contender, we would like to see him winning these matches. That's for sure. But for Diallo, it's absolutely massive. I mean, his next round against Tommy Paul is going to be for a top 100 debut. Let's see. I mean, I don't know if he has a good chance against Paul. He would have to probably play pretty similarly as today. But then again, Paul has that athleticism and kind of might react a bit better than Arthur to a game like this. Arthur looked definitely like a little powerless with everything that Gab was throwing at him. Did Muchova make that volley? Oh, wow, she did. What a wall at the net. And, well, other than that, I mean, Diallo has a Bratislava title to defend in like October, 125 points. But certainly if his quality remains this high, he would still have chances for a top 100 debut, even if he loses to Paul. And I think he's pretty much ready. I mean, ever since he was in college, I think ever since he, decided to wrap it up in college and go pro, I think that he always had the tools. He was just like very much a raw product. And I think today was maybe the first time when we saw how a completed version of his game can look. And this also comes after a very wobbly qualifying campaign. Like he was 3-6, 3-5 down to Droguet and saved too much points. He was also struggling in the opening round against whoever it was. I don't remember now. Shimabukuro, I think. And in the final qualifying round, he also played pretty mediocre against Valentin Royer. So he's improving with every match here. And about to do something special. Already did something special. As you wish, kind of, to call it. But I think today was really probably the smartest match I've ever seen Diallo play, in that, he was just fully aware of what he is trying to do from start to finish. There was no BSing whatsoever. And just a very high standard of his game. Oh my, speaking of high standard, this forehand counter from Naomi. This is kind of how she was playing, of course, as well in the... pretty much how she's been playing most of the year. Just makes sure that she is never on the defense. When she has a shot like this a bit out of position, she is known to just smash it back. And in this case, it definitely surprised Muchova. 30-all. Let's see if Naomi will be the first player to kind of fight for something here. On return, Muchova throwing in the slice. Sets up the forehand well, but there's not much that she can do with it in terms of actually getting Naomi behind the baseline. And yes, we will have the first breakpoint of the match in favor of the Japanese. Wim Fissette on our screens, of course, very famous coach. Second serve from Muchova on this breakpoint. Naomi already 2 steps forward into the court, lining up for a big return. It's big, but Muchova absorbs the pace of it with the slice and is able to get the error from Osaka. I mean, don't get me wrong, Naomi still had a mid-court forehand she could have easily hit. But it's something. I mean, it's still some credit to Karolina for getting that return in play, getting that return. I mean the ball of the Osaka return in play. Neutralized it with the slice pretty well, and now she's trying to serve and volley, but she won't have to, as the return is not over the net. They're already showing us this Rolex button, or however you want to call it, with the 4 minutes in this game. I mean, 4 minutes is not a very long game yet, but maybe they just want to show their sponsors. And yes, that's another great serve out wide for Muchova. So 2 games all. Osaka had a chance, but, well, missed that mid-court forehand off a slice. Hi, Josip. Hi, Ashley. Are you following Tristan Skulkate's match, Josip? Looks like Tristan is up a break again in the 5th set, but is now down low 30 on his serve. But yeah, certainly that match is turning out to be a lot more interesting than anyone thought before the match, really. Marozsan in trouble against Medvedev. We will probably join that match when Osaka and Muchova finish their 1st set. As you can see, Navone is still fighting, but, well, he kind of just needs to make this a huge battle, try to outlast somehow. But yeah, Tristan Skulkate right here, up a break again, but still very unclear if he can actually take the match against Menchik. An ace from Osaka to kick us off in the 5th game. And I think that's another really good serve that should just give her the point. Down the tee. Muchova gets her racket on it this time, but there's no way to block it in, really. I wonder if Medvedev is fast. Like, I wonder if this match might be longer than that one, but I don't know. We'll see. That's lovely from Osaka again. I mean, maybe Muchova was just playing her into the same spot, but yeah, she just kept responding with the same forehands cross court as well, kind of like progressively improving her position with every shot. Every shot was deeper, faster, and eventually it's all culminated in the winner. And that's 40 love for Naomi, who's been pretty much spot on so far. I mean, she had a miss on the break point that she created, right? But hasn't really done a great deal wrong in this match so far. And in fact, she will already get to 3-2. If it's 3-2, I'm looking at Marozsan Medvedev, but they're also on a changeover right now. So now we'll just stay with Naomi and Karolina up until the end of the 1st set, and then we'll probably switch to Marozsan Medvedev for a while. But yeah, Navone broke back, so maybe that 5-hour thriller, another 5-setter for Evans is still possible. And as we can see, Tristan Skulkate is down a break point now to Jakub Menchik. Can I turn on that stream in time to see it? That's the question for me right now. Well, I already saw the next point, which has just allowed Menchik to create another breakpoint, 3rd one in this game already. It looks like this was a pretty fabulous rally. What a reaction from the Czech as well. Skulkate with the drop shot. Menchik chases it down. There's an exchange at the net, and Menchik just barely gets his racket on it. It's kind of similar to a Federer shot against Tomic at the Australian Open years back. Maybe a little easier. And Skulkate at the net. He's going to throw out his volley. So Menchik is back in the 5th set. With that, we switch back to Osaka Muchova, that's for sure. Let's see if Karolina can keep up. Last game, she had to save a breakpoint. And while she did, of course, she was definitely also under a bit of pressure when Naomi's 2nd serve return was so aggressive. But yeah, this is definitely high quality from both players so far. Just no nonsense tennis, if you may. There's been more opportunities for Naomi to kind of show, some flashes of brilliance. I think Muchova, for the most part, hasn't really had like a standout point yet, but she's also serving very well, and this might be that standout point. In fact, oh wow, there's a slip from Muchova, and she's down on the ground. The funny thing is that this very slow forehand squash shot from Osaka could have been out. Like, it was super close. But yeah, Muchova slips here, which on hardcourt is reasonably rare. But yeah, I thought this might be the first kind of standout point for Caro, because she played that slice down the line, then got to the forehand counter cross court. The angle was sublime. Naomi just barely can get it back in play, but that was enough as it turns out, because Muchova slipped. So a bit of an unfortunate manner for sure to go love 15 down here. And it's going to be love 30 as well. I'm thinking maybe Naomi's return clipped the net, but anyway, even if it did, just the sheer speed of it, the pace was definitely tricky to handle anyway. 6 points in a row for Naomi apparently, but of course 4 were on serve, no 2 on return, love 30. Muchova once again has to dig deep. And so far, whenever she has to do that, the serve comes in clutch, or most of the time at least. I've got that down the tee, unreturned serve here. Wow, she goes tee again, and she gets that as well. Just perfect spot serving on the last 2 points. Osaka kind of checking with the umpire or her box, I'm not really sure, but yeah, clearly it was in. Of course, we have the electronic line calling in New York, so it's just like, well, you can't change the decision of that anyway. But yeah, it was pretty much on the line. Again, she goes tee, Muchova, and again, she's gonna get the point. So 3 amazing serves in a row, really, to get her out of love 30. The unfortunate slip at the beginning of the game could have put her in real trouble. In fact, it kinda did. But she goes tee again. And yeah, 4 straight serves down the tee, both outside and deuce side. And on the outside, in fact, it was an ace both times. That's some ridiculous precision here from Muchova in the last 4 deliveries. And she gets the 3-all tie as a reward. Osaka to serve, 7th game of the opening set. On the changeover, we're definitely gonna check out how the other courts are looking as well. And as I said, maybe after the first set, we're gonna switch to Medvedev Marozsan for a while, but we'll see how it progresses. Definitely, these 2 matches will be the focus of this stream. Once Osaka, Muchova, and Medvedev Marozsan end, that's when we will leave. Some spectators let in at 3-all, of course, haven't been seated yet, and it's causing a delay, as usual. First time maybe that we see Muchova really giving Naomi trouble with the slice here to the forehand pretty deep. I know she also missed that break point at 2-1 after a slice, but I think that that was just kind of her overhitting a little bit and maybe not really ready for the shot to come back this quickly, but not really like bothered by the spin all that much, whereas this one definitely she was. Forehand cross-court exchange, but Naomi is now on the inside-out backhand. She has to go really low to hit through the slice of Muchova, but she does it. Again, she's going to have to go very low with her knees. She does it all. Well, I mean, yet again, this is just perfect from Osaka. That one forehand cross-court was incredible. And then when she had that ability to go for pretty much the same shot as on the previous point, this time she landed it perfectly. The drive is also on the baseline. I mean, of course, I guess we're not surprised by it, but yeah, her quality is very, very high so far in this match. Muchova with some brilliant play, though. Again, that kind of rip and charge approach. Hitting a good, take an early second serve return right at Naomi and following it up to the net. Very nice reach on the forehand as well. I was actually unsure if, she was, well, I was sure she was going to reach it, but I wasn't sure if she was going to create anything of that volley or just kind of let it bounce off her racket. But this certainly wasn't just letting her bounce. So even though Naomi has started so well, Muchova has kept up with her, and there's no clear advantage so far. In fact, if Muchova wins this point, we might have a break point for her. Let's see. Again, she's forcing Naomi to hit off the low contact point. Whoa. Well, everyone in the venue, including Osaka, probably not Muchova. I mean, Muchova probably meant it. Yeah, you can see she meant it by the replay. Well, everyone at the venue was expecting it just yet another slice to the Osaka forehand from Muchova, but she actually plays a drop shot, and it's ridiculous. Like, it's utterly effing ridiculous. Second serve as well from Osaka on that break point. So even though she started so well, she might be getting down a break here. Wow, and she risks it on the second serve. She tries to go after the Muchova forehand. And the thing is, usually when you try to do that, like, the opponent doesn't have too much time to react. But Muchova, with all her skill set, basically, like, yeah, she still gets a clean hit on it, and she still actually takes time away from Naomi. So she gets the first break. What a match so far. And well, Tristan Skulka and Jakub Mensik, what a match so far as well, as you can see. When it comes to Navone, he's 2-5 down already, so probably Dan is going to take that. Marozsan 3-5 down as well. We've got the three-time defending champions, Ram Salisbury, soon on court 2. And there was a lot of comments in the chat. Going with Osaka in 3, but I love watching Muchova, says Yossi. Well, yeah, Muchova taking a set has just gotten a lot more likely. Yeah, I don't know why they let people sit down whenever they want, to be honest. But maybe some guys just let them in, maybe some don't. Yes, Medvedev is playing right now too. Ideally, you are going to have these two screen results on the screen, unless I forget. Who they have winning the US Open? I also went with Sabalenka. Tough not to do it after her Cincinnati run. I mean, she dominated there. The courts play reasonably similar. She already almost won last year. I will kind of die on that hill and say that she kind of even though Goff was fantastic in the final and was defending like crazy, probably some of the best running I've ever seen from a tennis player. And even though I still feel like it was really on Sabalenka's racket for a large chunk of it. So I think, yeah, Sabalenka is the very natural pick here. Someone who I would kind of like her chances against Sabalenka, maybe Osaka if she would get to the final. But of course, it's such a long way that, well, even here she's struggling against one of the best players in the draw as well, one of the other unseeded sleepers. So yeah, it won't be easy. But someone like Osaka, I think, could beat her. But yeah, so far Sabalenka is looking like she might not have that many contenders really. We'll see, but yeah, she's looking really good. Maybe someone like Keys, if she peaks again in the fourth round. I mean, we remember what happened in the semis of last year. Crazy good forehand volley from Muchova here on the net approach. She's got fantastic touch, really. And also to the question of why not sleep. Well, I mean, these two matches are very interesting. Earlier in the day, John basically asked me if I wanted to do something earlier in the day, and well, it didn't suit me for a couple of reasons. One of them being that earlier in the day there were just so many matches at the same time. So actually, at the U.S. Open, I like to do these night sessions because then there's only really like one or two matches that I want to watch, which allows me to do the stream and do it. Whereas if there's like five earlier in the day, it's very tough for me to do the commentary, focus on one match, and still follow along with the others, probably tweet something at the same time. So basically, I like these night sessions. And yeah, today these two matches at the same time, Marozsan Medvedev and Osaka Muchova, they sounded very exciting to me. Of course, Osaka Muchova, yeah, as I said, one of the best players in the draw, despite not being seeded, both of them. And Marozsan is probably one of my favorite guys to watch as well, especially when he's facing one of the best players as well on the tour. If there was something exciting in the second slot of the night session, then I would think twice before watching it. Like I'm not staying up for the next matches. But honestly, so far this year, the US Open has just been scheduling things very like conveniently for me, because the last matches are just not exciting to me. And it's going to be the same tomorrow, right? I mean, they put Shelton Tiafoe in the day session and Popyrin Djokovic in the night. So like I'm not too invested in Popyrin Djokovic, to be honest. And it's been the same as well with the other ones, like, you know, Alcaraz Litu in the night session, Alcaraz Botic in the night session. Like, yeah, these aren't matches that I really am that excited to follow. There was something else as well that I'm forgetting about right now. I guess Djokovic, both matches, right, were also in the night session. So yeah, I'm not staying up until like crazy hours, just watching usually the first match of the night session, sometimes even not that. Like yesterday, I think I went to bed at around 1 or 2, maybe. But yeah, these two are great. And I mean, I don't really have all that much to do in my life other than tennis. That's not to say I'm not busy. I feel like I'm really, really busy generally. But yeah, my lifestyle is definitely suited to tennis for the most part. Where when I wake up and when I go to sleep is mostly a tennis decision. So yeah. And so far, I'm definitely enjoying this. 3-5 down now, Osaka. Muchova, from starting maybe a little slower than Naomi, has truly turned this around. Played a couple of absolutely phenomenal shots, that drop shot to set up breakpoint. And now she's finding this forehand return down the line as well. That volley that she had in the previous game. Wow. I mean, if there's someone who's going to beat Osaka here early, and it's not going to be Naomi dropping her level, Muchova is definitely the right candidate. And while I was praising, you know, Gabriel Diallo earlier for like playing pretty smartly today, executing his game to the highest possible level, well, I mean, Muchova is someone who can do it every time, right? She's just such a smart player with all the possible shots in the book. And yeah, now she's kind of overwhelming Naomi with how early she's taking her returns as well. And she's going to have 2 set points here. 3-5, 15-40. Last 3 games or so. Just too good. Actually, since there was 2-3 love 30, right, on the Muchova serve, and she had hit these 4 perfect serves in a row. And now she's capitalizing on another weak second serve from Osaka. Basically, Naomi just rolls it into the court, and whereas 2 points ago, Muchova hit a return winner down the line of the forehand. Now she goes cross as well. So it's 6-3. I mean, this set has turned on its head like super quickly. But it's mostly due to how Muchova just played amazing stuff, honestly, since that love 30. With the pinpoint serving, with the returns taken so early, with the kind of unusual strategies as well. How she went at Osaka with that rip and charge attempt, how she also played that drop shot where everyone was expecting a slice. And 12 winners to Osaka's 5 in the end. Naomi with a very low first serve percentage in 42, and Muchova actually 86. So I was just saying that like her spot serving has been incredible. And Osaka broken in the head, says Wookie, and that last game looked like it actually. That last game kind of looked like Osaka is just overwhelmed after these last 2 games. She doesn't really know what to do anymore. She's not like consciously going after her second serve as earlier, but kind of just rolling it in, and Muchova taking advantage in brutal fashion. I think we will actually stick to this match and then maybe switch to Marozsan Medvedev. That's kind of how it's looking at the moment. All right, what else do we have? Remember, Popyrin played well against Novak at Aussie Open. I mean, same at Wimbledon. I just don't really like the matchup. I'm not excited by either player. But it could be close. It could be. Keen says that he watched Vesely, I guess, against Hanfman. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you how you say that you don't know how he can progress in this shape. I can tell you he can't. I just don't think he can at all. And Wookie very right here that Osaka, when she started feeling the pressure because of Muchova's brilliant play, like she just fell apart in that last game completely. She had no fight in her anymore. Of course, I don't really expect that it will last forever, but she has to uncover something quickly. Muchova can win multiple majors. Only question is her fitness. Sure, I don't disagree. I mean, there's been players in recent years who won slams like Raducanu, like Vondroushova, Krejcikova even, who I don't think are better than Muchova at all. But that's always been the case for her, just struggling to really stay healthy over an extended period of time for sure. Rublev Lehechka could be a banger, but they were so awful in their second round matches, I don't know. I mean, before the tournament, I was picking Lehechka to beat Rublev, but now after what he did against Kruger last night, I just don't know. I am not watching Medvedev right now, Ashley. No, I'm gonna focus on this one and then switch to it after it's done, I think, or maybe after the second set is done. We'll see. But I'm not. I haven't seen a ball from the Medvedev match actually, and I think there was also one more thing here. Oh yeah, Dane Sweeney. Keen, wasn't he like in like the top 250 or something like that? Like if you're in the top 250, you should be playing, right? Unless he fell off from that ranking. But I think when he went away, he was in like the top 50. So, but he was on a bit of a losing streak. Still is 252 though, and apparently he's playing a UTR in Australia this week. This is very interesting. So, basically instead of any pro events, he's just playing a UTR in Australia. Likely sold a set yesterday to some Hrabko guy because I mean, how else would he lose a set to him? Very interesting. But he's on a massive losing streak in the pros. 9. Hasn't won since February. Anyway, we are already starting the second set. It's more precise serving from Muchova. thus far. She's been so good ever since going down 2-3 love 30 that Osaka hasn't been able to keep up. I think that's a let on the second serve. Yeah, this was maybe a fine chance for Naomi to get some nice point in, maybe get that confidence back. This return is a little weaker from her though, and yeah, it's gonna be just a wild forehand error. So yeah, Muchova still rolling. She wins the 5th game in a row, but of course the next one is pretty key on the Osaka serve, and well, it's getting into must-win territory for her. For Naomi, of course. Also, I was gonna check on Skulkate Menchik, and it's 4 games all in the 5th. We might actually, like, if it's a tiebreak or something, I might also switch to that and talk about that for a while, but we'll see. We'll see how it progresses. It looks like Medvedev is pretty comfortable, so well, we'll see how much of that match we will be able to see after Osaka Muchova. Maybe if Osaka wins the second set, we will switch to Medvedev Marozsan at least for a while. We'll see. Just do it, by ear and play it by ear and figure things out on the fly is my idea for this. Chopped return from Muchova, and Osaka is just all over the place now. Even in the game that she lost, where she got broken for the first time, Naomi, she was still kind of like very patiently setting up for all these slices from Muchova and just making sure that she's hitting everything with the best possible footwork, positioning. But now she's not doing that at all. And this is another return that kind of takes time away from her. Fisette is looking very creeped out. And it's out of the last 10 points, we've got 9 for Muchova. Love 30 on the Osaka serve. I mean, this is literally a game that could, well, I don't know if I would go as far as end the match, but it would put Muchova in a brilliant position. Especially considering how Naomi is just not that intense anymore. I mean, it's not the confidence, it's not the mindset of the first few games. And Muchova is just flying. I mean, yeah. What else? What can you do here, really? I thought the forehand counter from Naomi was excellent, but then Muchova just sprints to the net after that forehand line, puts it away beautifully with the forehand volley, and there's 2 breakpoints for her. I mean, she can claim the 6th game in a row. She's been absolutely astonishing the last 20 minutes or so, and Osaka is just failing to live up to that standard, both mentally and game-wise. But we'll see. She's still not out of this game. Muchova maybe felt that momentum a little bit too much here, and is trying to go for a very low margin forehand down the line. So 1 more breakpoint for her. But the first serve is still not coming in from Naomi. It's about 40% for the match, I think. That's also, of course, helping Muchova to put on the pressure. She does put on some early pressure, but Osaka is at least in the point. Yeah, this slice was really short from Muchova. I'm not really sure what she was trying to do with this, but maybe she just misplayed it. But it seemed like deliberately into the middle of the court. I know that Naomi missed a ball like this already in this game, but it just felt like it's an ill-conceived idea if this was how she meant it. And this time Osaka was not as helpful. Are we going to have another breakpoint for Muchova? Second serve again for Osaka, still struggling to get it in. And, well, this will result in a double fault. You hit enough second serves and you're likely going to hit a double fault at some point. By the way, how is Skulka and Benchik? 5 games all soon. So yeah, depending on how this match is going, we might switch over to that for at least some time. That's a funky return from Muchova. It's pretty much a moonball. But yeah, Osaka is just going to crash this. I mean, this time Muchova was just saving herself, but it was like a slice moonball as well. Didn't need to be as easy as Naomi made it look. And that's an ace down the tee. Maybe Osaka can kind of revive herself here and it's kind of been the case, actually, that the last few months, Naomi, I would say, is winning the matches where everything is going right for her. But it's been tougher for her to maybe come up with a comeback, respond to some adversity. So yeah, it would be a massive win, of course, for her to potentially pull this off here. Down a set to Muchova, 3 breakpoints saved just now. But yeah, at least she seems a little bit more engaged now than she was in the last game of the opening set. She stops the streak as well of Muchova winning 5 games in a row, which is obviously very important. Let's also remember that Muchova served at an incredible accuracy in the opening set. This will go down a bit for sure as the match goes on. I mean, I can't say for sure, I guess, but 95% it will go down because it's impossible to be getting your 6 out of your 7 first serves in for the entire match unless you're like really making sure that you're just rolling it in or something like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously she's not out of this yet. That's another brilliant serve for Muchova. Just keeps finding the corners. And looks like this game should go pretty smoothly for the Czech. Osaka trying to line up for a massive forehand return line here, but she just barely gets it, kind of, let's say, 3/4 of the net height. Muchova to the net, but the serve was out. Would love to see how she handled that backhand return from Naomi, though. The volley she put into the court kind of casually. I think she would have played it a bit differently if she knew that. I mean, if the point was still going. And it's a double fault from Muchova, but 40 love up, maybe it won't matter. Interestingly, she was also serve and volleying at 40 love. So I mean, on the second serve. I mean, so interestingly, she was going after the to the net after the serve, also on her second delivery. Which definitely, as a surprise tactic, can still work. This serve should be much better, and it's 6-3 to 1 Muchova. Still pretty much spotless, but at least Naomi is fighting for it now. Hello, Ghosty. Does anyone know what's up with Rybakina? In her statement, she said her injuries. So, well, it seems like she doesn't want us to know what exactly is the case. Hi, Swarna as well. What else do we have here? Yeah, nothing specific really with the Rybakina info. Pliskova 3 points. That was wild. Keen says that Olaf is taking the title in Stawno. I mean, I would like another Chash Agvi final. Don't you think that Chash will beat Pieczkowski if they play? I think he should. But yeah, Olaf is the defending champion there in at that 15K. For some reason, we're seeing a friend of the show, Liam Brody, on the screen. Anyway, who are my picks for the title again, Ashley? It's Arena and it's Carlos. Men's side, less confidence. Women's a bit more. Skullgate Menchik 5-6, as we can see. I think we will try to catch at least some of that fifth set tiebreak, provided there is not something extremely important going on in Osaka, Muchova. As it seems right now, I mean, Marozsan doesn't really provide any danger to Medvedev so far, so I think we will just focus on Osaka, Muchova, and then watch whatever is left out of the Hungarian against Daniil, but we'll see. Anyway, for now, let's just see how Osaka is going to serve at 1-2, and then maybe we will think about watching the breaker between Skullgate and Menchik. If that breaker even happens, of course. Muchova trying to moonball, but that's going to be wide. Did I leave it on the right screen? Yes. Also, Ram Salisbury, the three-time defending champions, down a break to Darderi Romboli. This also could be like, do you remember at Wimbledon? I mean, Ghosty obviously remembers, but he's probably gone by now already. But at Wimbledon, there was this situation where Korda got Davidovich Fokina, right, in the first round. And then Davidovich Fokina withdraws and he gets a lucky loser. And that's Pecci Pericard, which is even more dangerous, probably. And I think that's kind of what's happening with Ram Salisbury here. Not in the sense that their original opponents were tough, because they weren't. It was Diaz Acosta and Echeverry. But I mean, now they're facing Darderi Romboli, who I think are much better. So the fact that someone pulled out and they let in a theoretically weaker pair because they went in off the alternate list, so they had a lower combined ranking, it actually isn't helping. But of course, they still should be beating Darderi Romboli. Maybe they will in the long run. It's just an early break. But yeah, if the three-time defending champions were going to lose today, that actually would be the upset of the championships so far. Muchova trying to, I was calling her plays here rip and charge, which of course isn't really a tennis term, but we had to come up with something in terms of that play where you just kind of hit a big return and then run to the net instantly. But this was the classic from Muchova, chip and charge, except she floated the slice and it went long. But anyway, 2 games all. Let's check what the score is in Menchik Skullgate. All right. So I think we will watch the game from Muchova now at 2 games all, and then we might switch over to Menchik Skullgate for a second at least to see how that deciding tiebreak unfolds. I mean, Tristan Skullgate into the third round of the US Open would be pretty insane, to be honest. He actually got a wild card, right? So last year, I think Rinki Hijikata with that Australian Open reciprocal wildcard, he went to the 4th round. So it would be kind of, keeping up the trend. But still, I think Tristan was maybe a little even less perceived as a bit less dangerous. Oh, this is a crazy point. Once again, what incredible reach Muchova has. I mean, she probably shouldn't have won this. I think Naomi on at least one occasion could have passed her in a more, efficient manner. But again, the reach on the forehand volley from Muchova, very good athlete as well. Like this is the sort of kind of net scrambling that you usually don't see on this side of the sport. I would suggest, if you want to call me a misogynist for that comment, go ahead. That's definitely not what I meant, but I mean, not what I mean and not what I have in mind, but you just rarely see that sort of agility at the net. Sorry. Again, Muchova is pretty much perfect with her serve. She will not even win the point, though, because her backhand approach was a little too easy in terms of her, the placement of it, and Osaka just goes straight at her. But Muchova is at the net again. Oh, wow. What are we watching right now? I mean, Muchova is at the net in every point. This approach is also not prepared that well, to be honest. And she pays the price. Osaka just going at her twice, and it's enough. So yeah, 30 all. What a weird game. So now it's kind of up to Muchova to make sure that there's no trouble here. But well, now she might not be able to. But Osaka makes the error. Very disappointed with herself, as this was just one of these shots she has to hit so commonly in this match, right? Muchova slicing down the line at her forehand, Osaka trying to ramp up the pace cross court. It's really something that she's forced to hit almost every game. So you'd think by now she would have a better grasp on it. And in fact, there were parts of this match when she did. At least she's putting returns in play, though, and this game is much closer. But now she is going to miss that backhand line. So 3-2 Muchova. Where are we with Menchik Schoolgate? Let me see. Where is that match? I lost it. Oh, yeah, here. 7-2 in the tiebreak for Menchik. So, yeah, I guess I'll switch to that for just a second. But it looks like the winner is pretty much set in stone by now. I mean, it's the expected winner, but he took the scenic route today for sure. He's 8-2 up even Menchik at the moment. Very close to securing a comeback from 2 sets to love down. And also making the US Open third round for the second time in career. Last year, you might remember when Menchik played the US Open, he was turning 18 on the day when he played Taylor Fritz. It was not a good performance at all, but, well, it was still a cool story. This year, I think technically we are still on the 29th, right? So I think this year he would have a day off on his birthday. Because this year he would have the birthday between his third round and fourth round. So yeah, so he would need to win one more match in order to still be alive in the tournament by his birthday. Anyway, Menchik 9-3 up now. Schoolgate won 1 point from 2-8 with a big serve, but now the Czech just clean +1 forehand kill. And of course they're going to switch sides now, as it's 12 points in the breaker, but after they do, Menchik will have 6 match points, 3 of them on serve. So, well, you gotta think this is enough to close it out. He was down a break in both sets 4 and 5. So, kind of like what Schoolgate had against Daniel in the opening round. Because if you remember against Taro Daniel, he actually came back from 2 sets to love down, right? Can Menchik close it out already? He's at the net, and I think he's gonna put the forehand volley into the court. Yes, and that's it. So Jakub Menchik comes back. Great stuff from him. I don't know how much he's gonna have left for the next round. We'll see about that, but yeah, this is of course a very different win to his opening round. In some ways, even more impressive. Let's get back to Osaka and Muchova, though. And this was a quick game for Naomi, apparently, while we were away. So status quo has been retained. And Muchova is going to serve in the 7th game of the second set. Slice approach from Muchova, great stuff again, just down the line, catches the forehand volley again on the stretch. She's so good on that shot today and gets the point done. This shorter slice I like though. This isn't quite like that one that floated a couple of games ago. This is one that actually forces something out of Osaka, and in this case also forces an error. Oh my goodness. This is just incredible. Again, Muchova with the serve volley, and what a backhand volley she gets to on the stretch here. I mean, once again, replay, please. Yeah. This return should have been out of her range, but it's not only out of her range, I mean, reach or whatever you want to call it. It's also like she barely gets her racket on it, and it's just perfect. Just drops off, just behind the net and dies on the surface. So yeah, she fires another ace now, and it's 4-3 up. And of course, we're entering a very crucial stage of this second set, where like one break for Naomi, or on Naomi's serve, can literally end it. So, well, Hova still playing pretty much flawless. All right, and I should, once again have Fernando show Leon Brody on their screens. That was round 1, right? Yeah. Herbert, I think, lost to Enzo Cuoco today. But yeah, it's a shame. I mean, of course, not an easy draw with Herbert, but Liam really needs to start getting some runs going, getting some momentum going. Rybakina will soon take a break in her career, says Wookie. Maybe. I mean, we don't really know what exactly is her deal, right? At the moment, we have no idea really. Josip said that the chip and charge from Muchova reminds him of Roger, and that's actually also a comparison that I've seen before. Yeah, some Federer fans do like to claim Muchova as kind of their WTA choice. And I agree with John there, yeah, that we should actually put both of these players through to the third round and take out someone else. I'm not gonna say who, but we should. Is Shellbike better on clay or hard? He had some clay runs, but I would say on hard courts, I think he doesn't want to be like grinding all that much. I think he likes to have some boost from the surface. Obviously, that also can leave him kind of vulnerable to getting overpowered, but I think he's going to be better on hard courts. And yeah, I should switch the score because, well, here we have it. Medvedev already 2 sets to love up. Let's see if Muchova can create some pressure here. Liam was talking about Yannick. Yes, Liam was talking about Yannick. And also some talk, of course, in the chat about the sick volley from Muchova. Well, 15-all now, anyway. Liam was kind of going after, well, not going after Yannick, but kind of how the case was handled, and it rubbed some people the wrong way. But that's probably for you. I mean, he's very outspoken in social media. Might agree with it, might not agree with it, but I do enjoy reading, though. Of course, it helps that he's the friend of the show and one of the originals. Anyway, looks like despite winning the first point, she is probably going to survive here. I mean, she's probably not going to threaten here. Think she tried to go after her second serve here, but she's missing it. Kinda just hoping to get that ball quickly, doesn't want to wait, get that game done anyway and forget about the double fault, which I definitely understand. And with a serve like this, she should be able to. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the examples where you should let it bounce. She just runs full sprint into this forehand drive volley, and yeah, I don't like this. She misses it basically into the open court, but it's just a crazy shot to go for, honestly. Like I can't blame her for missing it because I think 99% of the players would miss it. I can blame her for choosing to play like this. Wow, but she manages to beat Muchova in this rally. Was kind of risking it, opening the court there with the forehand counter cross, but well, Muchova, it was a 1 in a million shot what she had to pull off there, and she didn't in that case. In you know, this very example at least of it. But another slice is going to get one more forehand error out of Osaka. She cannot seem to get out of this 3-4 game, which of course is just massive. Ace down the T will help Naomi here. One more game point. And this time Muchova is actually going to miss her slice, kind of trying to go for the same, just slice down the line through the Osaka forehand. But after one of these shots, she decides to go after it again and lands it into the net. So 4 games all. Osaka survives. No breakpoints, but it was getting a little uncomfortable for her. Next time, I mean, if Muchova holds now, then the next time Osaka is going to be serving, she's going to be serving to stay in the match. So it might get even more uncomfortable. Wow. Insane. I know it's a short ball, but just the timing on this forehand down the line from Muchova. Now Osaka again with that forehand cross-court counter, which has been kind of her best shot today. And this is a great combination. She just gets Muchova on the stretch and kind of keeps following up in the same direction until she finally opens up the court enough to get the winner. And also had to like move a couple of times. He like switch positions. First one, it was that forehand counter. Then she has to step away and play the inside out backhand. And then once again, she returns to the forehand cross. But Muchova on the serve and volley, and she's actually going to miss it into the net. And this was practically into the open court if she lands it. Ooh, this could be a costly one. Once again, she goes to the net, but this is just a bit of a kamikaze approach, to be honest, on the second serve now. And Osaka takes advantage. This volley on the stretch, Muchova won't be able to catch. So yeah, very important points right now. Muchova absolutely cannot afford to miss another volley here, and she doesn't. I mean, this point felt like she probably could have ended it even quicker, but like this time she was desperate to do everything, spot on. And she does, like that crouch forehand into the other corner after the serve out wide, then another forehand where she kind of waits for the ball and yeah, just makes sure that she's not going to miss. Great technique on the last volley, backhand pretty high, can get tricky sometimes. But yeah, still one more break point. She needs to play this smart, this well again. And this game has seen her commit to some pretty weird decisions. Second serve, so Naomi will be trying to go after it. Muchova doesn't really let her. And she seems in control at this point, but will she be able to do anything? This is actually some very good defending from Osaka now. And she gets her chance to strike. She's on the attack, and she's gonna get the point. This is lovely. Especially that loopy forehand she played kind of into the Muchova backhand corner. That was so important in allowing her to stay in the rally. Then opened up the court with the backhand angle too. And eventually she just forces Muchova to go down the line with the counter, which she's gonna net. So 5-4 for Osaka, and she's going to serve for the second set. Well, yeah, this is good. I mean, of course, Muchova was playing a practically flawless match up until this game, maybe up until the previous game on serve even. But right now, we are also in a scenario where Osaka has stepped up, especially on this point, and we might just go to a decider, which would be a very nice way to see this much progress, of course. And yeah, just as long as you kind of keep watching this one, right? The main thought that stays with you is just it's a shame that one of these has to go home today. Because it really shouldn't be like this, honestly. In a perfect world, I would say that in a perfect world, that wouldn't be the case. Also, Schoolgate had two match points against Menchik. I didn't even realize. Apparently, one of them was quite interesting too. Anyway, both players are playing really well right now. Yeah. Medi is cruising tonight, says Ashley, the hardcore specialist. Yeah, at this stage, I'm afraid that we might not be able to see anything out of Medvedev Marozsan if we just stick to Osaka Muchova. But I think we should if it goes free, because yeah, it's clearly the better match. It's clearly the better story even. So yeah, I think that we should probably stick to Osaka Muchova if Naomi can serve this out. Muchova missing that forehand cross. Return will help. The chip is short enough. It pulls the server forward against their will. I mean, yeah, but you also don't need to chip and charge then, right? You can just kind of play that short chip as well to invite the server over. But yeah, it's a great play for sure. What? I have decided that the players underrated the most in tennis history is Rodriguez Taverna. Seriously, Keen? I mean, I think Rodriguez Taverna is what he is, but I don't know. 3 set points for Osaka. I will maybe talk about Santi in a second after we see this one. And that's an out serve, I think. I think that's a bit long, but still 3 set points for Naomi. This has turned very quickly, just like the first set turned quickly. But of course, then it was in the other direction. And now Osaka mishits the forehand +1, but she still has 2 more set points. And she makes a double fault as well. So 40-30. Third set point. This is the one where she already has to be like, well, yeah, I mean, I have to be kind of desperate now and just take this point no matter what. Getting the first serve in will probably help a little bit. But it's a forehand dumped into the net. This game is not over. Muchova's chances to claim the set aren't over. And now Naomi puts a forehand into the net that's just unmissable, seemingly. Wow. I mean, what a breakdown she's had from 40 love. This would be brutal. Suddenly, Muchova has a break point. But it's a relatively deep first serve from Naomi, even if not pacey. There's a bit of kick on it too. And I think Muchova wasn't quite expecting that. So we're back to deuce. Osaka clearly a bit disappointed with missing that first serve. She thought it might have been in. And will Muchova be able to attack her now? Not really. It's Muchova who's defending. But she's forcing Naomi to hit off these low contact points again. Something will eventually crack, I mean, in someone's game, and it's Osaka. After a short slice from Muchova, she steps into the court and misses the forehand cross. So one more breakpoint for Muchova in a very surprising turn of events when Osaka was 40 love and had 3 set points in a row on serve. She's now forced to save another breakpoint. Last time it was an unreturned serve. She kind of surprised Muchova. This time there's no surprise, but oh my. Osaka's racket is on the floor. Yeah, if I said like 3 points ago that the forehand she missed was unmissable, what she did here, in general, what she did in this game from 5-4 40 love up is, yeah, just. Well, I'm not sure this match deserves a third set now, because what Osaka did here from this position is just. She's done such good work to get herself in it, but after that, yeah, is that 3 set points missed only? But definitely 3 in a row. Maybe it was even 4 altogether. I don't remember now. I think it was just 3. But yeah, the +1 forehands just completely all over the place. And even from such an easy ball as on the last one, where literally just slap it from top to bottom and there's nothing happening there. And right now, of course, she's making shots like this because the pressure of potentially finishing the set isn't done yet. But yeah, keen with Rodriguez Taverna, I mean, he has no backhand. I mean, I understand that there was a moment when like he had he went 5 sets with Fritz, and it seemed like he would make maybe a bit of a longer impact on the tour. But yeah, I mean, if you have only one shot, no matter how good that shot is, and that shot is also incredibly erratic, I don't know. I don't really think of him as underrated. He could be playing the slams again, but I mean the qualifying of slams again. But otherwise, I think he's had a lot of chances to do better, and yeah, he's just not. He's got like 1 or 2 runs a year, and he's not even winning these events. Muchova once again with the serve and volley, and this time again she's perfect on it, even though it's tough, even though it's tricky, just perfect technique, getting that from below the net. Lovely stuff. She's had her fair share of botched up volleys actually this set, but all in all, her net positive over the entire match is still really good. Why do female players hit so many shots having to crouch down so much? Well, they're smaller, so they can do it. They're closer to the ground. And it's helpful. I've honestly hit some crouch shots even in table tennis. Maybe in table tennis it's fun. In fact, it's a lot more common. Well, it's not super common, but it's somewhat common if your technique is self-taught. Anyway, 6-5 Muchova. And well, more pressure on Naomi after she comes back. But yeah, what she did from 5-4 40 love. I'm still reading the chat from 10 minutes ago. And yeah. What is one player that surprises you the most that they're not good on a certain surface? Jesus. Great question. I would have to like look it up to really find it. But for years, I was surprised that Liam Brody's records were so horrible on grass. We just had him on the screen, so that's why I remember him right now. But yeah, for years I was kind of surprised with that actually, that Liam wasn't doing that well on grass. But then of course he made Wimbledon third round back to back. So, but yeah, with that flat backhand, I thought, and kind of just overall attacking game, I thought he was always, just had the tools. Eventually, he managed to get it. I mean, Rocha and Faria are definitely not as talented as Joao Souza. Nuno? Maybe. But yeah, I think for now we kind of just know that they will be able to stick around the challenger level. And after that... okay. So you mean he's the player you underrate the most? Okay. Yeah, I misunderstood you indeed. Yeah. Oh yeah, then in that sense, maybe sure. I mean, his ranking is high, relatively high, at least to your expectations, because he has one or two amazing events a year, right? When he's just like firing on all cylinders, pretty much one cylinder, but well, but yeah, yeah, I totally misunderstood you. There was something wrong about that sentence that I read from you. Like there was something wrong in the way that I read it, but I just thought there was a typo or something. But anyway, yeah, I misunderstood you. Then that makes sense. I was kind of surprised with that comment, as you heard. Okay, first point of the game, maybe the last game of the match, and Muchova plays a ridiculous drop shot return, and it's what? It wasn't in. Am I drunk? I mean, I thought it was in. Okay, never mind. Uh, 30 of up then, apparently, for Osaka. No, it's 15 all. Yeah, it was just the scoreboard. Okay. Yeah, thankfully I'm not drunk or doped or whatever. I mean, it's 15 all, yeah. Because that wasn't even close to the line, and I was so confused. Thank you, US Open organizers, for making me go through this and thinking if maybe I should seek professional help or not. Anyway, looks like despite that return, which Naomi kind of took with a, she smiled at it, let's say, in her own way. We still have her actually cruising towards the tiebreak, and yes, that's what we will have. 6 games all. This is big. This is either Karolina Muchova into the third round or a deciding set where, after all the twists and turns of the second set or the last few games of the second set, we will really have no idea who was the favorite and what was going to happen. Wow, again, serve and volley from Muchova, and it's just incredible. I know that she's always praised for this, but like this is one of her best volleying matches I've seen, I think. It's just that she's usually really good at the net, sure, and she goes there a lot, and of course she wraps up most points that she decides to take into that in that way. But like some of the difficulty on the volleying this today has been just. And yeah, this is another nice return from Muchova, deep, taken early, and it's gonna get her the first mini break. It's a nice serve. She should be taking this point, but no, the forehand approach, I mean, it's just a little conservative. I think it was fine, but that's exactly where Naomi was heading. And now she makes Muchova play a forehand volley that's way too tricky. But yeah, I mean, this is all on the approach, really. So the mini break has been restored. 2 games all, 2 points all, of course. What else do we have in store in this one? Osaka slamming her return, and she should be able to put the ball away, yes. So instead of being up a mini break, Karolina Muchova is now down one because the last 2 points have been taken by Naomi. But yeah, you could see again how like she was already there, you know, she was just nervously stepping inside the baseline and just awaiting that second serve from Muchova so that she can crack the return, and that's precisely what she did. I think she's gonna have to play a second serve herself though, and in fact she's gonna do it with the same ball, interestingly. Or did I see it wrong and it's gonna be let? No, I think it's the second serve. But Muchova will net the return 4-2 Osaka at the change of ends. We might still get that third set here, even though it should have happened 15 minutes ago. Yeah, 3 points basically. Pliskova hurt her ankle on the third point of the match. I guess Alcaraz Monteiro this year, Carlos hurt himself on the second point of the match, but he still played a couple of games. Pliskova didn't after her injury. It's just incredibly unlucky. Kind of on par with Paulini's entire Grand Slam season. I mean, keys at Wimbledon. But yeah, very rare, of course, but it happened. Double fault from Osaka, 4-3. Well, anytime she puts herself in the position here. And yeah, I specifically use the word doped because of the recent developments, yes. Does Muchova play doubles? I was thinking about this earlier, like not that commonly. And I think she'd be excellent in it, yeah. She'd be fantastic probably if she committed herself to it. But I mean, with her fitness issues, it's probably best to focus on whatever she can play at the moment. Oh my, this net court could have been brutal, but it stays on Osaka's side, so 4 games all. Did I ever watch Mari Osaka play? Yeah, when she got that wild card to like Indian Wells or whatever it was, and that wild card was admittedly a bit of a joke. I mean, she only got it because she was Naomi's sister. But I would assume that's the only match I watched of hers. It was either Indian Wells or Miami. I cannot tell you right now. But yeah, how quickly has this turned on Osaka again, as she's 4-5 down now and basically has to win 2 points on serve to avoid going down a match point. Oh wow, and Muchova is going to set up 2 match points with a beautiful forehand pass. Maybe could have been a bit better from Osaka, but again, that's what the short slices do to you, right? I mean, the ball is uncomfortable enough from Muchova. It's short enough that like Naomi has to raise the ball a little bit and has to give Karolina that pass potentially. So it's 2 match points for Muchova now, and she's in control of the point as well. But can she actually take it? Naomi finds the line with the backhand, and she's spreading the court now. Another short slice. Another pass, but this time Osaka gets a volley on it. She's also going to have to smash, and she saves the match point. Now, this will be an incredible match point save if she survives this match. But it's still one more opportunity for Muchova, and most importantly, this is on her serve now. And well, Osaka with a good big sigh of relief. This was a really like brutal match point. Like there were a few moments when she could have lost it easily. So there's still one more for Muchova, of course, and this one's on her serve. Can she find one of these amazing down the tee, super precise? No. She was going for it. She tried to land it. But yeah, second serve. We've seen Naomi hunt her second serve returns in this tiebreak. Is she also gonna do it under this sort of pressure? Not really. She's more confident just kind of getting it in play here. But this slice from, oh my goodness, guys, I don't even know what to tell you at this stage. I mean, this slice from Muchova was a lot too short this time, and she's basically forced to just kind of like save herself. Like there's nothing that Muchova can do. She's just basically trying to get the ball back somehow. She manages to do it, and Osaka has a drive volley to play on top of the net again. I don't know if you're comfortable with the drive, and of course on the WTA tour, the drive volley is like one of the most prevalent shots. But like if you're comfortable with it, sure. But it's tough to hit a shot like this, and Osaka misses it like way long and wide. Maybe just wide, but still way out of the court. I don't know. I mean, yeah, let's start talking about this match as we switch to Marozsan Medvedev. Honestly, Muchova was, for the most part, pretty fantastic. I think that she took time away on return brilliantly. Her spot serving was really good. Obviously, the volleying, the slicing through the forehand corner, doing a lot of sort of like soft damage in getting errors out of Osaka. But what Naomi did from 5-4 for love, it's it's an error you just cannot possibly make at an event like this, at a match like this. And she was punished for it. Like I'm talking about a singular error, and by singular error, I just mean blowing that second set. Like there were many. The +1 forehands in the 5-4 game suddenly just completely wild. How sometimes she was just like maybe not as careful when it comes to positioning herself to the slice, and also the last drive volley as well on the match point. It's insanity. And 4-2 as well, she made a double fault right in the tiebreak. So I think all in all, we can just kind of say that this was an awesome match until 6-3 for all. And then from that point on, well, even 6-3, 4-5, and 4-love up for Osaka. And from that point onwards, is just a big chunk of Osaka not stepping up to the challenge mentally and losing a match like this. But Muchova played great. I think Muchova might just take over Osaka's spot in the draw, in the sense that, a lot of people were putting Naomi pretty far in this event. And I think Muchova might just do it instead of her. By the way, I switched to Medvedev Marozsan, and Daniel has just made a double fault, and Fabio will have a breakpoint at 4-all. I wonder if this is the first breakpoint of the match for him. No, actually, no. We saw that he broke in the first set, right? But yeah, suddenly it might get interesting there in that battle as well. But Fabi misses that backhand down the line. The Ghosty's real name. This is a fascinating discussion, that's for sure. Pliskova started the match, played 3 points, Cayman Dust. I've heard that before. All right. I will definitely sort of catch up with the chat probably on the changeover here, as we have 40-all. Deuce on the Medvedev serve at 4-all. Marozsan has just had a break point. That's just a fantastic angle on the Medvedev serve. Marozsan just didn't even make a move. He was so far out of the court that he just said, okay, if Daniel makes the next shot, and obviously he will probably, I just lost the point. That's kind of what he had to understand at some point, let's say. And he dumps his forehand return into the net here. So Medvedev does eventually hold for 5-4. Way more winners than Osaka Muchova, says Ghosty. Yeah, I think especially in the first set, she was at like 3 times as many, maybe. Net point stats you want from Osaka Muchova? I can organize that for you, Ghosty, definitely. In fact, we might even get them on the screen, to be honest. let me switch to my screen for a second, and I'll show you the net point stats, Ghosty, if you want to. So for Muchova, it would be 13 out of 19. For Osaka, 8 out of 18. I mean, she missed like what, 3 drive volleys probably at least. So a lot of that was, of course, caused by that. Muchova maybe not at an amazing percentage, but I would say 3 of these she lost in like one game. There was one game where she couldn't win a point at the net suddenly, but she also played so many like technically difficult volleys and still made them work. So, and by the way, Ram Salisbury lost that first set, so yeah, that upset there is really possible, which would be wild. As you can see, almost all the other outside court action has already finished as well. And yeah, we can come back to the previous screen now. Muchova semis versus Świątek. Yeah, I would love to see it. Of course, Muchova Świątek is a bit of a now really thought of as one of the best matchups in the sport after the Roland Garros final, and it kind of is. Muchova has a lot of tools that can allow her to make her uncomfortable with how Iga isn't exactly at her best in the forecourt, and just feels better glued to the baseline. And Muchova, just has the ability to take that away from her. So yeah, I'd love to see that for sure. And Osaka Świątek, I thought, was a pretty likely semi, so it might be that now. If Osaka ran fewer meters, then that would actually not mean that Naomi was camped out at the baseline too much, right? I mean, sorry, no, I misunderstood you. Sorry, it's 3 a.m. I mean, the meters run stats, sometimes we can read into it, sometimes not really. In this case, I would say that, yeah, Naomi is glued to the baseline a lot. Like, she doesn't really defend anymore, I think, with how she's playing this year. She's just kind of trying to slam the forehand counter cross court anytime she's behind in the point, which is working really well. Like, that's kind of her best shot at the moment. And I wouldn't say that she was like, camping out at the baseline too much, because, well, Naomi didn't lose that much because of that, right? I mean, she lost that much because she choked horribly from 5-4 40 love. Like, she didn't lose that much because of any tactical thing, right? So Kyrgios teamed up with these gigs. Okay, how did Kyrgios end up with these gigs? I read girls earlier for some reason. I don't even know the sort of the slang word you used, Josip, but I can imagine what you are referring to when you call Kyrgios that. Although, beware of Kim, because he is actually a big Kyrgios fan in our chat right now. Anyway, 5 games all. This is a lively point for Marozsan as well. Goes 15 love up. Really good return, and then goes for that drive volley and kind of shows Naomi how it's done. Of course, Fabi wouldn't know that Osaka lost to... Naomi wouldn't know that Osaka did that, but... Well, since we joined, this has actually been seemingly the toughest part of the match for Medvedev. He is in struggle town right now at love 30, but he finds an ace out wide. Would love to get this match done quickly, I think, because we can see that he's pretty sweaty and, well, not really enjoying the humid conditions in New York today. They're always humid, but even though this match hasn't even lasted 2 hours, I think that well, obviously you want to avoid more danger. Gilles Simon and Gilles Servara in the Medvedev box. This is also his wife, Dasha, I think. I think Dasha. Or Daria. All now as Marozsan misses that return into the net. Nice forehand cross-court angle from Daniil, but there's not much that he can do in order to like end the point with his forehand, of course. So he's still gonna be reliant on Marozsan eventually missing here, I think. Although he is really trying to force the issue. Even plays a jumping backhand, and it's gonna be enough. That one shot from Fabi was quite interesting, where he just kind of lifted the ball and also did it pretty short. Like if it was directed at the Medvedev forehand, I think it could have worked. But of the backhand, Daniil still was pretty comfortable, just upping the pace on it and getting that cross-court angle. Longest rally of the match, apparently, 17 shots, and that's a good serve from Medvedev. Will he be able to claim the +1 forehand? Yes. So 6-3, 6-2, 6-5. He's also like reacting to the crowd somehow, like touching his ear. I'm not really sure what that is. Like, does he want them to get louder? Are they rooting for Marozsan aggressively? I'm watching this on mute, and I've only been watching this for the last 2 games. So yeah, I don't really know, but we'll see. Of course, if Medvedev claims this match, then this stream will be coming to an end. If he claims this match in free, then this stream will be coming to an end very quickly. See ya, Wookie. By the way, John, what? Drive volley doesn't do it justice. It was also put away volley. I mean, drive volley because she took it as a drive. Like, you know, you could literally just use one hand, right? I mean, of course, she uses one hand as well, but you know what I mean. You could just like play it with usual backswing. It's just that clearly for her, I mean, she feels the most comfortable. And she missed like 3 or 4 of them at least in that match. But yeah, clearly she still feels more comfortable on the drive. But yeah, drive is more about how she hit it rather than the position from which she hit it. This is the furthest Daniil has been away from winning a hardcourt slam since 2018. I'm not really sure. I mean, how about 2023 Australia? You remember when you were like really down on him and you were very surprised that me and Jack were picking him to like end the year in the top 5 or something like that. I think there was a moment when he was further away. Who did he lose to in New York in 2022? Wow, cannon forehand from Marozsan. Why can't I remember that right now? Am I tired? Less than when I started, to be honest. I woke up. Oh yeah, Kyrgios. Yeah. You're right, Kyrgios. I totally forgot about this because it feels so irrelevant now because, well, at the time it felt huge that Nick defeated Daniil, but then after that, of course, he loses to Khachanov right away. Kind of one of the worst matchups for him on the tour. But yeah, I would say that this was probably the furthest he was in 2022-23. Then again, there's also the argument that there were like the competition was just not as good, right, as it is right now, because right now you have Sinner and Alcaraz kind of to add to Djokovic. Fabian is the guy who beat Carlos that time, right? Yes, Rome 2023. As word number 135, he defeated number 2 Alcaraz. Who is married there with in Porto? And this should be a tiebreak. Looks like it at least, 40-15. Erki Kirkin. Okay, that's very interesting. That's a bit of a low ceiling player, to be honest, but well, I think it's been a while since Mert coached a male player, at least in the kind of in the long run. As before Zeynep, it was Ipek Oz and Ayla Aksu. All right, let's see about this tiebreak. Well, we're going to start it with an aggressive return from Marozsan that doesn't quite make the line. Backhand cross now. Wow, what an angle. And he's just moving Medvedev all over the court, but Daniil is getting to it all. I mean, maybe should have followed it up to the net earlier, but now he's probably going to lose the point, honestly, because of that. I mean, he's still putting some pressure on Medvedev. This is a fabulous rally, and eventually he wins it, Marozsan. Holy hell. Now he's the one kind of asking the crowd for some more cheers. But yeah, a couple of times in this rally, he had an incredible angle on the backhand cross. Here, there's the moment, I think, when he could have maybe set it up a bit better on the replay and perhaps followed up that inside-in forehand to the net. But you don't expect Medvedev to be there so quickly. Even after playing him for 2 hours, I think you don't expect him to be there so quickly. Kind of still return it with so much interest. So yeah, just getting through Medvedev, of course, is very tough for Fabi here. However, on the other hand, he can kind of hang with Medvedev in that longer rally too, right? If he can stay clean. So, well, it has its merits and has its cons, I suppose. But this time it's he who is going to crack first. It's the Hungarian GOAT. Well, not yet, but maybe. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat the achievements of Balázs Taroce, I guess. Achievements of Marton Fucsovics are probably doable for Fabi, though. Let's say the modern Hungarian GOAT. And yes, the tennis GOAT. I'm not counting Ferenc Puskás or Sándor Kocsis into this. Anyway, Medvedev up 2-1, but once again forced to work very hard for this point. He's back in it. I mean, this is pretty fun because they are so athletic. Like even Marozsan here stretching to that forehand corner and somehow getting it. But what's really winning points for Medvedev for the most part is that he's so quick to cover that forehand corner. Like Marozsan is constantly trying to open up the court there. And Daniil is just hitting it all with so much interest. He's like running into that shot, even though it seems like the only thing he can feasibly do is maybe just play a squash shot or, I don't know, just barely get the ball back. But Daniil is actually forcing Marozsan to hit out of pretty tricky positions after these shots. And yeah, it's really causing so much turmoil. 4-1 for Medvedev. And, well, the 2021 champion and the 2019 and 2023 runner-up is looking very close to be in the third round yet again. In that third round, he would face Flavio Cobolli in a match that definitely is very interesting on paper. Marozsan tries to either drop shot or maybe just slice down the middle. Not really sure because it's in the middle of the net and it's pretty tough to know what his intentions were. But yeah, 5-1 now Medvedev in that tiebreak. So huge comeback effort will be needed from Marozsan here. If he is to survive, if he is to keep fighting for it. I mean, 2 sets in Osaka, Muchova, and they lasted almost as long as 3 sets here, right? If Osaka, Muchova went 3, then this match probably would have finished earlier than that. But who knows? Let's not cross out the chances of Marozsan yet. Oh my. Okay. This could have been insane, but well, first of all, Fabi finds this brilliant angle on the forehand, follows it up this time, but there's a kind of accidental lob shot from Medvedev, which lands just off, like just behind the net, and also with a pretty tricky angle. Marozsan is surprised that it's in, but does manage to recover in time and still put it away off the backhand. But yeah, not easy. Could have been like one of the best accidental shots you've ever seen, really. And well, anyway, there's nothing accidental or there's nothing lucky about this Medvedev ace, and he's got 4 match points now. Goes really hard down the middle, but it's way long. The point has started at least. Marozsan really ramping it up on the forehand cross as well. Well, I think he's just starting to be a little loose here, of course, with the 4 match points he's facing, but that's actually pace that even Medvedev couldn't handle. Even Medvedev was not expecting that to be that sort of a bullet. And well, he saves the second breakpoint too. Suddenly it's not that easy for Daniil to absorb the pace of the Marozsan forehand. And it's more bullets. It's just more and more bullets. He finds the line with one of them. The way he's hitting his forehand on the last 3 points is just like, well, probably the similar sort of speed as that Fields stat against Van Asch at the Next Gen Finals last year, when he was hitting his forehead at an average of 149 kilometers an hour in the third set tiebreak, or maybe it was the second set, whatever set it was. Third set, I think, tiebreak. But still 1 more match point for Daniil. And he plays this beautiful jumping backhand down the line to get the match done. He has some interactions with the crowd as well. I mean, Fabi did too in the tiebreak, asking for some support. They are, of course, pretty nice to each other at the handshake. And well, after about 2 hours of play, Daniil Medvedev is into the third round again. 2021 champion. Not one of the favorites per se this year, but definitely in the conversation, especially if the draw falls apart a bit. And he did beat Yannick Sinner at Wimbledon, so if that match happens again in the quarters, of course, that would be a big story because of that. Anyway, where else do we have? I can't really tell you too much about this, basically, because we've got, well, we only joined at 4 games all, and seemingly it was the most tight fragment of the match. So I can't really say anything here about this. But I think you could see how well both Fabi has a shot in rallies with Medvedev, because he's not really he doesn't have to be super desperate to claim them right away. Because Daniil had nothing to put away the points with. He had nothing to really capitalize on the short balls with. But all in all, it's still so hard, of course, to sort of keep up with that level of discipline, focus, patience, precision. And yeah, some of the shots that Daniil was getting back, especially from his forehand corner, were just incredible defending and running, pace absorption. I mean, this is clearly wrong, John. I mean, he already made the quarters in Shanghai last year, right? Or like the Miami run. I don't think he, in fact, is like at the top level. He has very good tools on hard courts as well. Like he's just coming out and blasting the serve and first 2 free shots. Like that's what he's doing on clay as well. The only thing he has on clay over the rest of the surfaces is the drop shot. But it's not that like it's not a shot that wins him matches for the most part. Like instead of the drop shot, you can just play a bigger forehand, go to the net or something like that. Like I don't know. He's already made a number of runs. In fact,
Yeah, but his movement on clay is better as well.
I mean, maybe a little, but his movement isn't really a big part of
And
his game.
listen, you can say one run at Miami quarterfinals, but you could say that about a million players.
I mean, what's the results for Marozsan on clay other than that one Rome run? He hasn't done anything really.
Let's see. Let's see his career going forward.
I think he might actually have a bit of a harder time, especially against the top players, beating them on clay. But yeah, anyway, of course, that was it from him today. And the part that we watched, he was doing very well in. So that's how I'm going to remember this much. And that's really all I can say about that. Carlos Alcaraz starting up soon against Botic van de Zandschulp. Also, Caroline Wozniacki about to begin against Renato Zarazua, or, well, more accurately, in about 15 minutes. I think currently, at the moment of speaking, the last match on the outside courts has finished as well, with Kichenok and Nis beating Melihar and Dodik in the mixed doubles. So yeah, that's the wrap. That's basically a wrap for the US Open today. Only 2 hours and 15 minutes or thereabouts on the stream. But
Botic beating Carlos is just from another planet kind of stuff. You know, with the exception of injuries or retirements or illnesses or whatever, Botic is just, it's unbelievable. The Botic is in the second round of a Grand Slam again, to be honest with you.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, the fact that he beat Shapo in straights, it says more about Shapo than about Botic.
Yeah, definitely. Who was it? Who did Coric? Coric played Manarino in a match that I was like, someone has to win this. And Manarino played Goffin. Who won? I'm guessing Goffin beat Manarino, did he?
He did. Manarino should have taken it to the decider. He was like 5-2 up, but he lost that set. So
yeah, but and so Goffin is in the third round of a Grand Slam. I don't know. That just seems a bit.
I mean,
Goffin 5 years ago, sure, but Goffin 2024, come on.
Goffin made the semis in Winston-Salem just last week. I mean,
Winston-Salem, that great barometer of US Open.
No,
success.
But we're talking about the third round here. We're not talking about the quarterfinals, right? And I think he's gonna play Mahac again, who against at Wimbledon, he had that 5-0 lead against and lost it in the deciding set. So it's a pretty big story.
Yeah, but Mahac will line. Basically, Carlos has got to play Jack Draper, but then it should be a very manageable fourth round for Carlos, because it'll be Goffin
Is Draper that much more manageable than Mahac? I think Goffin is certainly manageable, but Mahac is.
He's beaten Mahac.
If he's beating Mahac, if you're this confident that he's beating Mahac, then you should also be this confident that he's beating Draper, I think.
No, that's what I knew you were thinking that as soon as you responded. No, Draper's got a bit more to offer than Mahac.
Hits bigger, but like Mahac hits quicker.
That's right. Yeah, but he's got more danger. There's more danger with playing Draper. I'm not saying that Carlos is losing to Draper, but he could easily drop a set. And probably win in 4. And if it goes long, then 5, there's only going to be one winner. And Draper's not beating Carlos in straight sets. So basically, I'm looking at all the paths to victory being pretty much shut off for Jack. But he's got a few things that could hurt Carlos, whereas everything Mahac does, Carlos does better.
Nah, I wouldn't say so. I think you're underestimating.
You like Mahatch, I know you do.
Oh, I
You
do
like
like Draper. I like Mahatch. I like Alcaraz. I like
you
Marozsan.
like but you got a soft spot for some of these Czechs that you've seen bumbling around the tour for a bit.
Probably just Mahatch, to be honest. I don't know if there's any other. Oh, Menchik, I guess, as well. But yeah, I
Menchik
probably
definitely, although
Mahatch.
he's a newbie,
Mahatch
yeah.
is probably my favorite Czech
Yeah.
right now.
Really, more than Mensik?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mahatch is not beating Carlos Alcaraz, Damien.
I think he's got a good game to make upsets. You can take time away like almost no one else on tour. And
maybe he can take
all.
time away, but is he causing crazy upsets? He's 6
Took
months
Djokovic
ago.
to their first set tiebreak.
Oh god, yeah. 6 months ago. Oh yeah, well, 6 months ago he was in a dogfight with Andy Murray and only managed to beat Andy Murray because he got injured. I think in the third set tiebreak. I think it might have been in Miami. Was it
Just
or
before
Indian
the
Wells?
US Open, he lost to Max Purcell in Cincinnati. But
Yeah.
it's not like every match is the same.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, when we wake up in the morning, Bocic's final time sort will be in the third round anyway, and we won't have anything to discuss anymore. And tennis can just end as a sport.
Yeah, when I wake up and I see Botti Van der Zandschulp beating Alcaraz, I'll probably I don't know.
In a fifth set
I'll go
tiebreak.
to sleep again or something like that, and hope that I wake up in a different reality. I'm sorry, Botti, if you're watching this. I mean, you're not watching this, but
no, he's not. No, well, if he is, then he's nuts because he's about to take the court against Carlos Alcaraz.
He's playing already, so he's definitely watching it. But if you're watching it on the replay, Botti, I mean, nothing against you, but I'm sure you understand.
I love Barty. I like him. I would love him to win an ATP Tour title before he retires. But
that has probably come and gone.
Yeah. But there's a bigger chance of that happening than him winning this one-off match against Carlos.
I think so. Yeah, not at a Grand Slam. Yeah, at a Grand Slam. Yeah, and in fact they've played twice, I think, and both matches were so uninteresting. Yeah, like it wasn't even 2-0. It was the fact that it was like 6-2, 6-2 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Australian Open 2021, and that's I remember. I think sleeveless Carl. No, 2021. Okay, so yeah. So that's actually a year before I thought. 2021.
Carlos was ranked like 140 in the world or something like that.
I barely remember him at that Australian Open. I remember him in 2022 because
he lost to Mikael Ymer, I think, in the second round.
Okay, I remember him in 2022 because that's when he lost to Berrettini in his only.
Yeah, but then he was already a star. I mean.
Yeah. We were keeping an eye on him, and he appeared sleeveless and very muscular. And I think he went through his first, and I think Berrettini was the third round, 5-set loss, and he went through his first two matches pretty quickly. Berrettini 5-set loss, so Berrettini can. Until now, he's the only person to have beaten Carlos Alcaraz in 5 sets, which is nuts.
And then they also played in Our Friend.
What? He played what?
In Basel.
Oh, okay, Basel.
It's not a 3 a.m. joke, yeah, I know.
No, yeah. So the other one, straight sets Basel. Don't remember that match.
Although I guess for you, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah. 2:25. Yeah.
So you should have gotten that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, but I don't remember that match in Basel at all.
Yeah,
just don't even remember anything about it. And maybe Carlos doesn't remember it either. Imagine at the neck, Bocic goes, "Oh, you got me a third time," and Carlos goes, "Oh, really? I thought it was just once." Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, who are you? We played before?
We played before. Oh well. Anyway, on that bombshell, we'll call it a night.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.